Hi, I'm Michelle Clarke. I'm the outgoing Executive Director of the Burns Memorial Fund, and this is Kendall Quantz.
I'm the incoming Executive Director of the Burns Memorial Fund.
And the Burns Memorial Fund is a Calgary-based foundation focused on meeting the health, education, and recreation needs of low-income children in Calgary. We started this journey as part of the Collaborative Funders Table, which is a group of funders in Calgary coming together to address issues. And youth unemployment was the issue that we were really concerned about. We knew when we started to work in this area that we couldn't talk about youth unemployment or come up with programs or strategies without really thinking of the barriers facing Indigenous youth when it came to employment. We also knew that we didn't understand those issues well enough. We really needed to deepen our knowledge and understanding of what Indigenous youth were going through. So I reached out to a good friend of the Burns Fund, Kirby Redwood at Muskanawa. Kirby very generously, graciously gave us his time, provided guidance on how we should proceed, told us about the importance of ceremony, helped us to engage in ceremony, and most importantly, introduced us to Reg and Rose Crochue. Reg and Rose really had an important influence and impact on our work. They guided really the work from beginning to end. And then through them, they introduced us to a whole circle of knowledge keepers and elders who came together twice in ceremony and offered their guidance, experience, and wisdom to us. Out of that, we developed a number of prototypes, I guess you'd call them, pilots, one of which is now housed at Muskanawa. And it is focused on Indigenous youth, but not just Indigenous youth, because what we heard clearly from Reg and Rose and the elders is that it has to be about the employers as well. They have to have an understanding of Indigenous culture and history if they're going to successfully recruit and retain Indigenous youth. So that's where we started, but our journey continues, and I'm going to let Kendall talk about that.
Well, after having that experience, an incredible experience of sitting with those knowledge keepers, having so many opportunities to talk to Reg and Rose, working with Indigenous youth themselves in the lab, and then the ongoing work with Muskanawa and seeing the progress and work they do with the revision program and everything else they do. We as individuals here at Burns Memorial Fund just felt, I think, an appropriate, tremendous responsibility to learn more about Indigenous history, about philanthropy's relationship with colonization, and to take action. So some of the first things we did as a staff group is started taking on some learning opportunities. A number of people did the Indigenous Canada course through the University of Alberta, found that to be really eye-opening. By having all different staff members go through those types of trainings and learning opportunities, there's lots going on in Calgary, which is fantastic. A lot's going on provided by Vibrant Communities Calgary through the Enough for All strategy, taking up every opportunity that we possibly could that came our way. We were able to have different conversations around this lunchroom table and engage as a staff people about what Burns Memorial Fund could be doing differently to honor our commitment to Indigenous peoples, the first peoples of this land, what we as colonizers had a responsibility for. And it also led to us then taking on the development and now implementation of an anti-racism strategy. So we're at the beginning of that. We're still, I say, as much learning as we do, we're still at the beginning, but we're committed to trying to take action, to try to implement recommendations from our anti-racism audit, from our anti-racism work, to try to ensure that the programs that we offer to the community are inclusive and aware, and that we take on some commitments around reconciliation. And every time I think about this, I think back to the words of the elders that we sat with, and when you hear people share such powerful stories from their own lives and their own experiences, I don't know how you come out of that without feeling like you need to honor that commitment and you need to do things differently, and that's what we intend to do. we don't have all the answers. We're at the beginning, but we have a role to play in making this a better community for all people, and especially for Indigenous people who have been left out of so many things for so long.